Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to address a viewer's question. She was curious to know what my life advice would be to young women with regards to finance, with regards to relationships, education, sex, and things like that. She also said that she would like to know how I would advise my own daughters in regards to these things. So for those of you that don't know, I do have three daughters. My eldest currently is only 9 years old. So there's some things that we haven't needed to touch on yet, but generally speaking, since they were babies, I have always been absolutely honest with them about the ways and realities of the world we live in, and always instructed them and taught them some very important things, all right? So one of the things I always taught my girls is that we live in a troubled time right now, in the sense that there may be many instances in your growing up where even the majority of the people around you are wrong. So the first most valuable thing that I taught my kids is to always understand that, and always understand that regardless of what the people around you are doing, whether they're adults, children, whatever, even if it's the entire society, you always need to judge things and act based on your own heart and morality, okay? Don't follow in the footsteps of others. Don't be a member of a group and just, act stupidly in just wanting to be a part of that. Always be yourself first. Never allow someone to negatively influence you. Learn to be strong. It's better to stand on your own, alone, than stand among idiots and losers. And so it's sad to say, but I do teach them that most people are not good. Most people that you'll encounter, don't give them the benefit of the doubt and think that you should start from a point where everyone is good. That's not true. The opposite is true. Let people earn your respect. Let people prove to you that they are good-hearted and actually good people before you credit them in that way. All right? I've also taught my daughters, not to the degree that I will eventually when they get older, but I've touched on, the relationship part with men, with boys actually, young boys. And that as they get older, boys are going to start looking at them differently. And as they become teenagers, boys and girls start dating each other and having relationships with each other. Now I tell them that most men are liars, okay? People will say things to you to try to get something from you, but they're not being honest with you in what they want. People will pretend to be your friend in order to get close to you. Now, with my kids, obviously I'm not really talking to them about sex at this age, but just for young female viewers out there, who are in that age where this is applicable, I would suggest that you always view your body as sacred, okay? Sacred. And this goes back to what I said in the beginning. Just because the people around you, whether it be some or the majority or all, are acting like whores and sleeping around and doing sexually immoral things with people who mean nothing to them in life, are just getting passed around, you yourself should never do that. Cherish your body. Make it something so special that nobody could ever touch you or put their hands on you or even get near you unless they are something special themselves. Don't be cheap like the majority of girls out there currently are, okay? I also would advise to be respectful, be ladylike, don't curse, don't talk disrespectfully about other people or to other people. Don't act like a fucking idiot. Act like a young lady, like you should, okay? Dress appropriately. Don't dress like a slut. Don't change your sense of fashion based on what, the current trend is. Dress appropriately always, okay? So with regard to money and finance, as they get older, I would always teach them to always be able to be, number one, very educated. Educate yourself as best you can, but always be able to earn your living for yourself. Always know how to make money, work hard, and understand that there are only one of two things that could happen. Either you're going to learn and be willing and sacrifice to get to the point where you can make money for yourself, and provide for yourself, or option two is you're going to find yourself in a position where you are dependent on another person, a man, to take care of you. And if you find yourself in that second option, you are now susceptible to being used and being passed around and being treated like shit. Basically, if you can't take care of yourself and you have to count on someone else to do that for you, that person will treat you like garbage. That person will talk down to you. That person will abuse you. That person will hit you, whatever he wants, and you will be stuck to accept it and just deal with it because you yourself have not positioned yourself in a way where you don't need anybody. Be independent. Be strong on your own. With my girls, I tell them that daddy won't always be here. As long as daddy's here, I will always protect you and do everything I can for you and provide for you and give you all the things in life that you need and want. But I won't always be here. So even from a young age, they understand the importance of money and finance. Okay? I also instruct them and tell them, especially if they were a little older, I would tell them that it's very important to know that even though society is trending in one way with regard to, women and women's rights, and that they're all fucking equal now with men in every single way possible, and that the traditional role of man and wife and husband, wife, and children and family is really no longer in play, that we still believe that that is right. So just because, the world around us is going one way doesn't mean that we have to. We will go the way that we know to be best. And I believe that that is the best way. That is the best thing to do. There are traditional roles that exist and have existed for a long time that are good and right. And this is one of them with regard to family. It's not about being unequal. It's not about being better, superior in any way. But the bottom line is there are roles. And the man's role in life is to be the head of his household. That is to protect his wife, protect his children, to teach them, to provide for them, to lead them, and ensure that they're always going in the right direction. And that's the way it is. That's my role in my household. And my wife will be the first to tell you that. We are not equals in that regard. So going back to what I said earlier about, relationships and dating and never allowing anyone to even get close to you. Forget about get physical with you unless they are very special. If you find the right man in life, or when you do, who is marriage material, you will not have a problem with that traditional role that I just mentioned. You would be happy to be in that place. My wife has no issue with that. My wife in no way feels that I'm controlling her or I'm a fucking like a bully to her in any way, or we're not equal. She knows her role and she loves her role as being my wife, as being the mother to our children. She understands and loves it, and it works out very well. So again, this conflicts with what society is currently teaching. So a lot of what the people out there are teaching you are bullshit. And I tell my kids that at these early ages. I also tell them that with regard to school. They put a lot of emphasis on certain things and say how it's so important that you do well academically and this and that. And at the end of the day, I teach my kids, listen, most of what you learn in school is bullshit. Most of it is trash. You're not going to need it in life. It's not going to be, as important as they tell you that it is. And the reason I tell them this now at these early ages is because people tend to put so much pressure on children to do so well in school. And for me, that's fucking ridiculous. Come on, my kids are 9 years old, 5 years old, and 4 years old. They're children. They're not supposed to feel stressed and feel overwhelmed about school. So, I always tell them that also, that, just because most people feel a certain way about stuff, we always have to stand on our own and view life in the way that we know it to be right, and always be strong in that way. Be careful who you become friends with. Always know that the people that you are friends with will define you and your behavior. Eventually, whatever they're doing, if it's negative, will rub off on you. It goes back to an old saying. I can tell you everything about a man that you need to know by looking at the group of friends that he has. it defines him. And the same applies to young girls. So again, guys, there's a lot more I can continue on with this. This is not a video I would have thought of, on my own to make. So I hope I did well in answering your question and maybe giving you females out there some good advice in life. All right? So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.